Once again, good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing great. The thing is, the add class code that you asked me is 94. I'm going to just write it something. Please let me know if it works, because I made a mistake in the previous session. You don't have 94G E. Yeah, it works. Awesome. Yes.
We have used Python and the pipeline.
The IPython for now. Yeah, we follow the main reference of the course outline for the first two chapters, right? Okay. The other thing is, if I go to the beginning of the chapter, we started working with this text-based environment, and there are some other environments that are very much compatible with this, which I can say they are like Atom and so on. The browser base you can use just in case you have no other options. I strongly recommend that you do not rely on computers very much here. Every time that you install, next session you have to reinstall it, because they just reset to the default of the programs that they already have. We said this chapter we are going to cover magic commands. We started working with basic commands like help, then we said if you use then question mark, it provides pretty similar result. But what if, imagine that I have command prompt here. What if I say help? I created something like function one. So when I say func one, it says, okay, you have a function name func one and so on and so forth. But it didn't mention anything about the code, right? If I say func one and I use one question mark, it tells me pretty similar things. It's a function. It receives two parameters like A and B. What if I use two question marks? This is what we talked yesterday. Do you remember? You guys, we had a friend who got 1% bonus mark in the previous session. Let's see if anybody can beat that record in this session. So I repeat the question. What if I say func one, two question marks? Yes. It shows the same thing. One of the friends said it shows the same thing. Yes.
It showed the entire function heading up.
What do you mean by entire?
Just like all the code as well as.
Lovely. Your name, sir?
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Thank you. Good job. And look at here. This one shows, as our team member said, not only the definition of the, the signature, the description, if there is any data string, also it shows the code, right? But the question that we are going to receive in a few seconds is, Reza, why for something like len, when I use one, it shows something, when I use two, it shows exactly the same thing. What could be the reason? Yes. What's your name, sir? Lucas. We have two Lucases. Okay, awesome. Exactly, because it is implemented by, look at this one. I'm gonna get back to your question, sir. I just wanted to finish this part. Look, it says exactly in this part, and when you see this arrow, it means that I very much like this paragraph. So for the questions that you may see in the midterm items that we have something like this. It says that the object in question is not implemented if you see similar things in Python or in other languages. It could be C, it could be C++ or any other language, anything but Python, right? So your question, sir. Yeah, you had a question.
Oh, I'm good now.
Okay, perfect. No worries. And we started talking about, look, page 5, we finished almost there. We just touched a little bit of how to use tab. So imagine that I define something like L equal to bracket 1, 2, 3, let's say 4, and then 1, 1, 1, 1 intentionally, and I'm going to tell you why. So I have a list right now that contains some numbers. If I say L dot and press tab, it shows all the possible methods that I can use for that list, right? And if I want to see a special method or not publicly available, I can just use underscore, underscore, and then tab, and you see there are special methods. And I have already uploaded a complete document to show, let me just see if it is on the, no, I deleted from my desktop, but I uploaded that into the course content. Yesterday I did it. If you go to so apparently I just copied in the group in the, but guys, my sincere apology. That's not, can I have your attention? That's not your problem. This is my problem. I'm very easy to get distracted, okay? Even if you want to talk, please talk in a way that I cannot hear you easily. Thank you. George Brown courses, the first course and basics. Again, week number 2 is something that I shared with you. And there's another Word document that I'm going to, just upload it again for you. Anyway, upload it for you. We see that it mentions that we have private methods and special methods. And what are the difference between private and public methods? I mentioned that in that document. Technically, we do not have such a concept, a huge difference the way that we have in C#, Java, and so on between these two methods in Python. But as a kind of convention, when you see a method starts with underscore underscore, means that that's the kind of method that you do not use it often. So in order to filter it in a way, not to show when you press tab, let's put it into that kind of hidden directory. Does that make sense? So whenever you see that you press tab and you don't see those kind of special functions, you need to use underscore underscore. That's pretty much what it wanted to say. But the good thing is, we do not restrict ourselves to use tab only for the methods. What if I want to see what are the libraries that they have? Simply, everybody please try this one. Is there anyone who couldn't get to IPython? So, okay, let's do it together. If you have installed Anaconda, if you go to all apps, please go to Anaconda folder. There should be one place that you see it's Anaconda prompt, right? You can use Anaconda prompt for PowerShell, but let's just stick to this one because it's very much aligned with the Windows environment. The other one is more like Linux kind of thing. So we open this, and well, still it's command prompt. But if you type IPython and press enter, if you see that green command prompt, then you're in the right place. Some of our friends, until the middle of the session, they said, Reza, it doesn't work, the commands that you say. And when I checked, it was white. It means that still you are inside command prompt of the docs, not inside the IPython. Yes, sir? On these computers, or your laptop, you have to install Anaconda. You install? So, okay, do you see that? Let's do it again. We go to all programs. You don't have it? What is the Windows version? Is there anybody who works with Mac and C? Okay. So meanwhile, don't worry. We're gonna find it till the end of this. In a few seconds. Guys, who has Mac? You have Mac, so you have Mac as well. Could you find, where is it? Sorry? By any chance, you can you connect Mac to this? Don't worry. Sorry? Okay, can you please explain to everybody? Can you send it to Telegram, please? Send it to Telegram, and I'm gonna just a second, sorry. No. Juan David or what? I don't, okay. So Gaurav was kind enough to share the link for that inside Telegram. Really? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So can you please explain it again for everyone?
There is just a prompt
Uh-huh.
for Qt consoles does not have.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
Open the icon.
Thank you. Yes.
Yesterday we showed that sometimes you'll show the icon, but I'm part of it. Enabled it through Anaconda. Now we can bring back on. Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about that once again.
Okay.
So there is one thing that yeah, gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? The thing is, normally, if you just use Stefan, if I just say CMD first. If I go to CMD, it doesn't work. If I say, for instance, IPython, right? It's not gonna work. That was the problem.
Yeah.
And I said, you can just change the environment variables, but you don't need to do that. The only thing that you need to do here is just go to all app, Anaconda, and then here we have Anaconda prompt. And if you click on that, you should install Anaconda definitely to access that. Okay, so here, the sign that you can understand you are in Anaconda prompt is having base in parentheses before the command prompt. So we type simply IPython. And after that, it's going to bring you to that green command prompt format, right? So I said, let's have L1 equal to that. And if we say import, for example, and then press tab, you see we have tons of libraries that we can import, right? What if I say, for instance, C, and then press tab? Then you see all those libraries that they start with C shows up, right? What we cover now is page number 7. And everybody, please try using import and press tab. Try H and press tab and see how many libraries you can see. Awesome.
I got 14.
Excellent. The good thing is, even if you cannot see any of these things on your computer, you can just try them later because the video is recorded. I'm going to share the link by tonight. Plus, I'm going to cut the rest of the things from the file the way that I shared it yesterday. You remember that I shared the Word document file that has all the commands. But I cut the part that we didn't cover. I just sent you part A. Tonight, we're going to have part B. And we are going to do the same thing for the rest of the semester. Whatever I cover, I'm going to give you that part to make sure that you can just work on them, watching the video, working on the material. And I'm telling you, the course is not difficult, but if you let everything pile up, then it's going to be kind of difficult subject. بچه یه خواهشی بکنم اینقدر الان به استرس داره وارد میشه لطف کنید ردیف اول دیگه به استرسشو اضافه نکنید خیلی ممنون از لطفتون چون واقعا این کلاس دیگه اصلا واقعا افتخار قابل تحمل نیست هر کی صحبت میکنه okay we have a concept called wild character and what is wild character anybody has any idea what is wild character Yes, sir. Lovely. So, what's your name, sir? Sorry? Matthew? Price. Lovely. As our friend said, in Linux, in Unix, in DOS, in Mac OS, we have this concept in the command prompt. Whenever we don't know the number of characters and the type of characters, we use asterisks, right? And in some languages, you see, if we know that there could be one character in some of the command prompts, they use exclamation mark. So now I want you to find, and there is another bonus question for you. What is the problem? I showed here that if you say warning question mark it's going to show, what do we call it?
All the
Yes, all the,
thing that contains the one.
okay, so but mine doesn't work. I say warning, question mark, and it doesn't show anything. What is the problem?
Because the W is not a.
What's your name, sir?
Mercy.
Marshy? Okay, two bonuses, one for helping your friend, the other for a correct answer. Awesome. So if we say warning like this, yes, now it shows all the commands that they have warning as one part. Guys, this is just one sample. In one of the classes, one student said, how about error? It's like the same thing. You can just say error, and then it's gonna show you anything that error is the last part of it, because we said anything, asterisk, anything, asterisk, and then yes.
What is the question mark doing in this, like in this specific scenario?
Searching for me.
Do
Anything.
you mind running it with just wild card error, just so, I'm sorry, my problem's not there, yeah. Would you mind, just so I understand, would you mind running this like asterisk error? Just so like.
This one means
Yeah, no, just look up, yeah.
it doesn't search.
Sorry.
Don't worry. The good thing is, our friend said my anaconda doesn't work, right? The good thing is, some of the commands, what's it? Sorry, give me a sec. Some of the commands that I talk, they work here as well, like, for instance, star error and question mark. And if I run a good percentage of it, it shows the result over there. So just in case there's no other, that you can use it as a kind of exit door, right?
Professor.
Yes,
Yeah, so if I want to search anything that in the starting and I go to the end, so I just do error.
that's the second question, that's the second part that you're going.
Question mark or this something.
Oh, wait. That's the question. We are not sure which part of it. Okay, everybody, go for CR, good question. And find dot star, find star means as RT as we are not sure where the find is. It could be the first, it could be the last, any plots. So just try this one too, please. So say str string dot asterisk. My apologies to find it. It takes a few seconds. Yeah, asterisk. Find asterisk question mark. So now the question is, I found these guys, and right now I have some stuff in my history. Is it possible to access the history of the commands that I have already made? If you press Control R, and for instance, say S, now you can just press again, Control R, Control R, Control R, all the commands that you had, and they contain S. It shows over there. Does that make sense? You can add more stuff into it, like, for instance, L equal, and then press Control R, Control R. So just we have one, so that's why it shows just one. Huh? Awesome.
Professor,
Yes.
I think I searched the loop hardware.
I'm sorry. Okay, if you don't mind, we are going to talk about that part next excessively just in a few minutes, okay? If guys, we are going to have time that we work for 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna walk around, and then if you have any concern or if there's a question that benefits everybody, I'm gonna just get to that definitely. So, there is one thing that we don't see exactly, and that's the bonus question that I want to ask you. We don't see exactly the things that we have in other environments. Here, look at this one. Imagine that I'm inside one command, and that's a big command. I can use Control A, and I can use Control E. Don't get confused by those brackets. I just add one space to Control A beginning, Control E at the end. But you could say, Reza, we could just simply use the arrow keys or Control Home or something like that. So if you are using one of those Logitech keywords, fancy keywords, it's just Control F and arrow keys. Why should we bother knowing all these A, E, and so on? Is there any answer for that? Sorry? Faster. Ali? Muhammad Ali. Okay, awesome. That's one answer. What else?
What's the answer?
Our friend said it's faster, but why is it faster? Can I use your keyboard for a sec? Thank you sorry. Guys, you see that this is the major part of the keyboard that you use, not necessarily the arrow keys over there. When your hand is here and you are very much familiar with the shortcuts, the best is for you to not to move your hands towards sides. Just use the piece that you have in here, the major part of the keyboard. Does that make sense? That's the main reason. Thank you. Okay, so we talked about this Control A, Control E. How about Control B? The same concept. Look, wherever you are, Control B, backward, Control F, forward. So Control B, backward, Control F, forward. But now we can use arrow keys to go to the previous commands and arrow keys to the next commands. What did I say? Previous and next. Control P, previous, Control N, next commands. So whenever you are in the commands line, not inside a command, you can use Control N to use to the next command, Control P to the previous commands. Guys, please share this, work on this for a few seconds. Control A, Control E, Control N, Control P. Yes, please. So the solution is actually IPython is part of the package. So whenever you install Anaconda, IPython Interactive Python is part of the package. And that's a good question. So why should we install Anaconda to have the notebook is it's just a kind of interface to show the ability that you have inside Python. And in a kind of nicer, neater format, you use notebook, but this is not necessary. You can use the same functionalities using the IPython environments. So that's the reason. So the thing is, in here, we have Control D. And let me just bring it to you. And after this, I'm gonna just walk around and see if there is any concern, any question, and please ask your questions. Look, I have here, I go Control B, but what if I say Control D? You see, it's like using the delete key, huh? It's like using the delete key. And there's a funny thing. So guys, you see K is something like that. What is the side that K looks at? To the right side, right? Wherever your cursor is, just it goes from that part all the way to the end and cuts that part. Does that make sense? So look at this one. I press Control and I say K, and it goes from that cursor position all the way to the end. And the thing is, to paste here, you have to use Control Y. And the good thing is, guys, if you forget to remember, does this represent Y for you? Kind of Y. Come on, it is Y. So I just want to say that it is like a funnel. So it's going to paste the things that always remember. Control Y, funnel, just to remember. Okay. And the other thing is, so K is going to cut from the cursor position all the way to the end. How about this side? So look at here. What is this? U. Imagine it is U. So, and it points to this side. So from the position that you have all the way to this. Does that make sense? Okay, so K, that side K is very obvious. U is the other side. So I'm going to just put the cursor somewhere in the middle and say Control U, and it's going to cut that part. And if I want to paste it, what is the key? What is the hotkey for it? Control funnel. Control Y. It's going to paste it over there. Huh? Okay. And sometimes, especially when you are in rush, that happens a lot. So you want to type something like list. Is there anything wrong in my typing? Oh, sorry. So S and I should transpose, right? S and I, especially if there is a kind of lengthy, you don't want to, I mean, just delete everything. Control T is going to transpose these two, right? So that was initial LSIT. I brought the cursor over here, and then I said simply Control T, and then it became I and S after that. Right, so transpose. I talk about these few hotkeys, shortcut keys, and then we are going to have 5-10 minutes to review everything at our own pace, to talk in a group, to share what you learned and whatever you have as the concern, and ask please. And we're gonna, if I have a knowledge, I'm gonna just answer your question. Look at this one, please. It says Control key. We use Control B, and we use Control F. If you are in one line, it goes backward and forward. But if you want to go to the previous command, you use Control P, and Control N brings you to the next command. And Control R is going to search for the commands that you have already written. But these three, for instance, I want to clean my screen. One of the things that I can do is type CLS. That's one solution. So CLS is clear screen. Let's imagine that we have, again, not a very tidy screen, lots of things over there. I could press Control plus L and it's going to clear the screen again. So Control L or type CLS. The other thing is, sometimes it happens that you run it code and it takes forever. For instance, either the loop is very lengthy and you have to go through the items and it takes half an hour, or you define a kind of infinite loop and you want to get outside it. So Control C is Control Cancel. It's not copy. It's Control Cancel. So that's one of the things. Sometimes you want to exit the environment. There are three ways for doing so. One of them is very simple. The most convenient one is using Control and D. So it asks you that, do you want to exit? It asks for permission. And if you say no, nothing happened, you get back to this environment again. You can type quit, and that's the best time. You can type quit and you can type exit, and both exit the environment. And one of our team members asked for what is the difference between these two? Are they different? Any different? So which page are we in? Here, let me just see. Page 5. I have mentioned that question that I received from one of your team members. Yeah, here. As you see, and there's a reference that for that. It says that it's just exit is the kind of alias for quits. They do exactly the same thing, so there's no preference using one on the other. So simply, as something that we all practice, let's say quit. It gets outside without asking any permission. And then we need to type Python again. And there we go. We're going to get back to the environment. So look at the PDF page that we are in. We have already covered everything all the way to the end of page 10, but the PDF page is 28, except talking about one thing, which we are going to talk about in no time. So please, from page 5 all the way to 10, have 5-10 minutes with your friends. I'm going to walk around. If there's any question in Hassan, I'm going to answer. Okay. And at the same time, we can use the command line so the prompt is more aligned with the PowerShell is more like yeah. I'm gonna talk about it. We're gonna get. Well, I am thinking of coming with this, right? That's one more. Sorry. Right. Okay. Maybe this one here. It's not everything, man. I don't like. Just iPad. We have to go to iPad. Okay, so just quickly, I'm gonna just take the attendance in a few seconds, but let me just go. This everything is fine here. You could get into 5 marks. Like this, pro. Yeah. I don't think that we have. Awesome. That's what guys. So it works. How this Can you ask our member to protect? Everything is fine? Yeah. So you just from here, there, not to receive questions, right? Well, okay, I just start asking. So how do you come that? Is it fine? Okay, ask for this. Okay, the whole environment. Fucking takes. That's a good question. Try it, and that, you know, there should be possibility, you know what? Because what we do here, it is staying inside the two lines. There isn't a different simply with in the command case. Everything at the time, the same, and the vector was an expert. That is what I have tried accidentally. But I was curious that I was saying what everything. There should be kind of a spreadsheet or something. I realized that it's. Okay, that's. Okay, so I guess. Okay, guys, I received two questions that they are really worth to discuss, and that's why I want to answer everyone. I mean, just to everyone. Because the friends class. One is, what is the relationship between Anaconda Python and Notebook? They use the same engine. So whatever you do here, this way or another, you can just do the other environments too. The Notebook is kind of nicer, neater, cleaner visual form that you can just switch between, and you can keep everything in different cells saved. The other question that I received, I knew part of the answer. I'm gonna just, that's my homework to go and study the rest. Is it possible that whatever we type, then at the end we decide to export it as a file? There should be a way for doing that. I'm not familiar, but why I'm saying that it is possible? Because everything that we do inside IPython, they save as a record inside SQLite built-in database for this environment. So that is why when you use arrow keys, it goes to previous record or next record. Does that make sense? It's like, I mean, just moving around a table. The other question is why some of the commands are different, for instance, in PyCharm and in here. The whole idea is we learn. That is a question that I received yesterday as well. Reza, we got used to, for instance, working with Visual Studio Code. Why we need to learn IPython, why we need to learn Olap, Anaconda, or all this. I always answer not for just IDEs, but about the languages that people say, Reza, what language I should learn to get to the market and get to industry? The answer is very simple, any language. Because if you know how to drive, switching from Mercedes to BMW takes just 10-15 minutes to get used to the environment. If you have the mindset of programming, it's easy for you to switch from one language to another. But if you want to suggest someone who wants to be a computer engineer, please do not advise to start using Python. Because if that person wants to, guys, don't get me wrong, Python is an amazing language. But the structure of how to program can be built using something like Java, C#, those kind of languages. Many things are compressed, compact in Python, so you don't see actually what is happening under the hood. You just click and everything is done. You say list.sort and everything is, you do broadcasting, you do all those things without any trouble. We will get to those parts pretty soon. So apart from it, if you want to share your environment with others through cloud, Google Code. If you want to run a simulation which is heavy, you cannot just fit all the data set into Google Colab, use your own server, install Anaconda. If you want to get used to text environments, work with IPython. You never know that you end up using Atom, you end up using PyCharm, you end up using which environment? If you want to switch between languages, then the best is Visual Studio Code. Right? So you can't say which one is better or which one is the best. The question is which one is the best for my own usage for this specific project. Did I answer your concern? Okay. So by saying that, yeah, we talked about this yesterday. What do we call this part? That was it. Oh, yes. Multiply. Okay. And yes, both are correct. Description of function value. And well, that's the beautiful thing. One person starts saying the correct answer, the other person said the more specific for this one, and the last team member started explaining that docstring, which is actually what you say. So docstring, we use it to show the functionality of the method that we have. Okay, so we work with all this, and now it's the time to know a little bit about magic commands. Look at this one. If I copy this do nothing, Control C, and I bring it to this environment and say Control V, it gives me a kind of, hey, be careful sort of thing, right? And if I press, sometimes this works, sometimes these kind of things, they don't work. So, for instance, here it doesn't. What is the solution for such a thing? So I copied something unintentional. Control C, okay. So one of the things that you can do is using paste, just bring to yeah, there we go. So look at this one. If I have something like this, I mentioned intentionally that sometimes this one works, sometimes it doesn't. Like this. Now it works. But the safest way of copy and paste is using %paste. Look at the difference between these two. In this specific example, the environment was wise enough to ignore automatically these extra dots that we have here. But it's not always the case. If you want to copy, making sure that no unwanted characters are pasted, just use %paste. Whatever you have inside the memory, it cut the fluff and paste the major part of the code. Does that make sense? So it got rid of those unwanted 3 dots, and here it is. Just everybody, please try this. Using paste. I'm going to use Telegram to copy the code for those who have difficulty. Actually, as you see, the function that I copied was do nothing function. Means if I say do nothing and I pass, for instance, 5, it's going to just return 5. As simple as that. So whatever the parameter you have there, you're going to return that parameter. Does that make sense? Okay. I have provided another thing for you that not all the time % paste can work, especially if you have a lengthy program that contains several lines of code, and some of them are in this page, the other lines are on the other page. So what can we do for such cases? We have a command which is called %c paste. Look, in this file, I provided, and you can just use any website. I provided from Programmist one web page. So let's go there. Control V, for example, this one. And I go, imagine that I want to copy and paste all the lines of the code in here to my environment. So simply, I'm going to just say CLS. I type %c paste. Look what's going to happen. Actually, technically, nothing happens yet. I go to that environment, copy the first line, for instance, Control C, and come back here and say Control V. And then again, I go to that environment, copy the next line, Control C, then I get here and I say Control V again. So I just continue with one more line. You got the drills, right? You know the. So Control V, paste. Simply, if you type -- enter, you are done. That is very, very effective way of copy and paste, especially because Python is very sensitive about the indents and the number of spaces that you have. So you're safe if you just copy and paste like this. Just spend 30 seconds, try this one, try one website, whatever it is, just Python sample, copy and paste using %c paste. Which group are you? Zero, about 100. One, five. Okay, I have two people, so you're in this class. What you can mention, but on this screen, I'm gonna just add this in. And actually, yes. So the number is 30. What's the next step? Number one. Number 21. You have the Spanish. Number 29. There's one friend. Who shall pass out? Number 22. Yes, they just the least number. Seven. Then plus yes, please.
You just give CK, but
To use line by line, then you're not gonna see that. That's it. And it's not another word if you see that, because you need to go line by line and just fix it in the dish. Okay? No, it starts when you just, it's an interactive environment. That's a good question. I'm gonna explain that. Seven, it's going to ask every line that you want. You use control C, something. Okay, yes. Now we have that, now we have the function, the 5-2-0, you already got that. 2-0, open parentheses, then. If is it the correct answer? Now, of course, the return is right. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna take care of the attendance like that, little by little, but just I received that question that Reza, it doesn't do anything. I just type %C paste and I press enter, and actually it does nothing. Well, you're right, it does nothing, but it's a kind of interactive environment. It waits for you to copy one line at a time, like this, press enter. right, Raghav? And then you can just simply paste like that. The problem that could happen is for that one, I expected to have indentation. So I manually need to add that by myself. I'm gonna do it once again. So Control C, C paste. I paste that line. For this, Control C, I say 1, 2, 3, 4, Control V, and then I'm done. And are you sure that it works? Well, let's try it. If I say do nothing, and I say 100, for example, it's going to return 100. So it shows that it works. Did I answer your question, Stefan?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So let's get a little bit further. I provided one text file for you. Well, technically, Python file. Please, everyone, check your course content. There should be one file, the name is hello, and the other one is another. We need to download both. So please download these two. My suggestion is rename 03-hello into hello. So something like this, you press download, and then you just save it like hello.py. And then look, where is the location of our file? It is in C:users/ your name, right? So open a window, Windows Explorer, and then go to, I say C:, Reza, well, users Reza, I'm gonna get here. And then paste it there, the place that your IPython exists, the default location for your IPython. Okay? Is it clear for everybody? I repeat it, download this file that you have on your course content, hello, and another, download both of them. Let's do it one step at a time. If you download the files, please just give me a signal. Download it. Okay, awesome. And then please go to the place that you have this location of your IPython. For me, it is C:users/Reza. So I went there and I paste hello and another .py over there. Does that make sense? So copy and paste the files into this location. I think after a few seconds, you could just get the answer. If you right click on hello and say open with, for instance, Notepad, look what we have there. It shows that there is a function that we define. There's a method. The name is greet. You pass the name and it says hello, and then the name that you have already passed. And I said, what if the name is equal to comp3122 students and say greet name? Then it's going to show hello, comma, comp3122 students. Let's see if it works. The question is, if you can run the code in here. So simply I say %run and hello.py. And if you press enter, you see it says hello, the same thing. One question, what if I say greet and I say, for instance, Reza? What's gonna happen? Can this line access the method that we have in another file? Yes, correct. Why? Because we have already run the code, right? And it went through the function, so it has it in the memory. So if you run that, it's going to access that. Correct. What's your name? Neha. Good. Okay, so we covered that C, and then how about the other function? The other one is this, and we need just to type one thing. And guys, this is an easy bonus mark. So please make sure that you run another. And you can see this on your screen. And whoever could just have that, they're gonna receive bonus mark. So please. Richard? Wilson? RJ goes. RJ goes. Come on, this number, you want to say fire. That's something you want to be done. Awesome, addition. President, go. Severine Merrick. Oh, awesome. And you solved the question, right? Good. So if you click on that line, right, and that's for Windows. Because we can use that. But that's use that to get okay. So. So, Sarah wants to. Okay, and we use all
Yeah.
that's what that's. It's trying to be. Yes, okay. So don't worry. Yeah, I'm going to upload the video by tonight. If, sometimes it happens that unintentionally I get something that I promised in class, rarely that happens, but that happens. Please remind me, okay, don't hesitate to say, hey, where are you from, something. I'm gonna get to those, who finished that, guys, let's just, start from here. Who finished the question? So, awesome, 2 bonus marks for Mohammed. I didn't tease her, right? So, well, the set is perfect. Mershad, Mahshad. Yes. And Niheen. Awesome. Shada. Awesome. So. And Muhammad Ali. Awesome. He's a good friend. If I were, I was like, yes, Muhammad Ali. Yes. It's coming in a few seconds. Your name is not in here. Yeah. Yeah, I found it. Yes, and thank you guys. Good job. We're on. Yeah. So, did you solve it? No need to check. Just tell me your comment. Did you stop? Okay, and start. Done. And done. Awesome. Done. Let me just. Thank you, Ryan. Did you solve it? Yeah, awesome. You got it. And Sir, come on. And Ines, Measurements and, sorry. My apologies. And you make that. You could. So guys, when you finish. Okay, and your name, sir? Chili. Yours. So your name, sorry. Okay. So, listening. Chloe. Wrong. Thanks, Chloe. So. Guys, from the back, are you the same flat or? The problem is it's alphabetically or ordered by.
Yeah,
That's not how it is. People, that's all competent rules. I just read it and then. Number, number 5. Thank you very much. Honest mark, did you solve the? That's perfect. Oh, just save it. And thank you very much. That's great. Thank you very much. You certainly want to have this, you need bonus. Yes. Please. So how about this? After the class is over at 2 o'clock, I'm gonna say that's just practice. Okay, so let's say just the last one that we have here could be just make it work, the last. Okay. Don't worry, Raj, whenever you are done, just show it to me and then you're like, okay, guys. Let's just continue. All right, can I ask a question? Yes, please. I not get it file. I downloaded the I'm doing the run. That's a good question. Let me just explain to everybody. How about that? Okay, so imagine that that's a question that I received from one of our team members, Reza. I couldn't copy the code properly the way that you showed. So let me first think that we don't have any command prompt whatsoever. DOS Anaconda 1, okay? So, and imagine that the name of the file instead of hello is ABC. I want to make something brand new that we go through together. Everyone is following. So look at this one. Now I have one file, ABC. What I'm gonna do is I go to program, to all apps Anaconda, and then to command prompt. Look at this path that I have here. What's happening? This is nothing but C users Reza. Does that make sense, sir? Yeah. So I say Control C, and I have that now in the buffer. So I open a Windows Explorer. Everything is clear so far. I just copy the path, which is the default location of my IPython. I say Control, I drag and drop, Control C, and then I go to Windows Explorer and look at here on top, I press Control V, and now is the place, right? Now it's the place that I want to paste my file. Simply, I can drag and drop or copy and paste this file. Right, Stefan? So now I bring this file here, I copy and paste. Now I have that file there. It's the time for me to say IPython. I go there. And now if I say %run abc.py Python, it should work. As you see, it works. Does it work for you, sir? Please take your time. During the time that we have like this, I walk around and try to take care of your bonus marks and your presence or something. Please feel free. We do not talk about anything about the course, so you can just go and you have a quick water break for yourself. But because we are a little bit behind the schedule that I designed for today, I'm not going to have a kind of break. Yeah. So use like kind of open lab. You can just go and come back. Did it work, Stefan? If not, don't feel pressure. If you have any problem, we are going to get to your computer a little bit later. Let me just go to the rest of the content quickly. As you see, the second file that we opened, it had a square function plus we called that function, we said for n in range of 1 to 4, means 1, 2, 3, but not 4, exclusive on the right side. Just show me the square of those numbers. It should show 1, 4, and 9, right? Awesome. And then all the time, we need to deal with the performance of our program. We want to see if our program is fast enough or where is the bottleneck of the program. Data structure is a very good metric for us to learn using a concept they call it big O, right? But the thing is that big O is not always very much practical because you want to have a physical number. Like it takes half an hour, it takes 10 minutes. You want to have a number, right? Numbers for that. One of the ways that you can use, one of the ways is saying person time it. we have two methods. One is time, and the other one is time it. Another bonus question is waiting for you. So please pay attention. I describe these two, and I want you to tell me if what I say is a kind of rule of thumb, it's always true or not. Time is to calculate the amount of time that you need to perform one line of time does the same, but it goes through the process several times. Why? Sometimes like 7 times you see. For the first time, maybe you are dealing with another process, it takes more than normal. For the second time, maybe you have nothing to do with your computer and it finishes the job very fast. So two sides of this extreme. How about the third time, normal? How about the fourth? So you calculate this job 7 times and finally you come up with one answer, which is kind of average of 7 attempts. It sounds like more accurate, right? But time it doesn't once. The question for you, can we say it's an interview question? Okay, if you want to use a function to calculate the amount of time that you need for one process, are you going to use always time it? Is this the most accurate? Yes or no? What's your answer? Who says time it because it calculates the average of several attempts? It's the most accurate, and we always use that. Well, it's average, but average is better than just one time.
Yeah.
Now, what is that specific time that you want to say in this scenario? Now, time works better than time. You got the question, right?
Yeah.
We could have scenarios, maybe, that time works better than time is. What would be that scenario?
When a function calls itself multiple times.
Sorry?
When function calls itself multiple times, then time function is really good. Because it's gonna call it multiple times, so we need an average time rather than multiple time.
Well, at least I can't relate to the reason for that. Okay, think about it. What could be the scenario that, guys, most of the time, for instance, you want to calculate the speed of normal people when they walk. One person could be kind of very slow, one person could be super fast in walking. But when you take the average of 10, 20, 100, you can say that human beings in general could walk 4 kilometers per hour, something like that. One person could walk 6 kilometers, one person could walk 2 kilometers, but in average, you get to the, you know what I'm saying? If you start flipping the coin, right? What's gonna happen? Maybe you're lucky 5 times head. But after that, maybe you start, receiving tail. After 100 attempts, 49 head, 52. You got the scenario. My question is, which scenario is the place that time, which just calculates one, works better than average? Yes.
Still use it for benchmarking. So, all this.
We want to get a benchmark, whether we use time or timers, right? We want to get a benchmark to see this algorithm can perform this in 10 seconds or 10 minutes. We want to do that. Okay, let me give you the answer. Guys, imagine that we have a list and we want to see if we sort it, how long does it take? So first, when you calculate it using timings, it's unsorted list. It's unsorted list that you are going to sort it first time, but 6th time after that, you want to sort already a sorted list. It's not gonna take the same amount of time. If it takes 10 seconds to sort a list, which is not sorted, next time it takes just 1 second. So the average of 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is going to be something like 2, which is not correct. You got the answer, right? So in that case, the best is using time.
What about, this one?
It's better to just talk about specific case, right? Not to just talk about something. Okay. Everybody, please type percent magic. It talks about the magic functions that we can have. And then after that, please type LS magic, which is list of magic commands. It's a kind of contract version of that's lengthy. Yes, you have to press enter 20 times. Or maybe more than 20 times. But LS magic where is it? It shows everything that we have. Look at them. How many of them already covered? We have some of them that we are going to cover pretty soon, like XMO or Eco or LS. We have already covered time and time it. I think that I explained lots of things about time and time it, but I don't know if I had a chance to show you the output of this one. So look at this, please. If I say time it and get to this, you can just check your computer speed compared to the neighbor. Which computer is faster, yours or your neighbor's? 370. Sorry? 2.6. 26. Really? Wow. Is it gaming laptop?
Yeah.
Is it microsecond or millisecond? Okay, then. I had one computer that it was like 10 times slower than average of the class. 20. Seriously, wow. Apparently mine is the oldest. Okay. Then the other thing is, guys, can you please tell me, this one is in page, the PDF version, if we go there. This one doesn't work for me. A bonus winner. Tell me what is wrong with this. Control C. And I run the code, Control V. Yes. And I press enter. Oh,
There is no return statement.
why should we have? It's not a command. It's not a method.
Oh.
Let me just do it one time, one line at a time. So Control C, Control V. I'm sorry. Pardon me? Because of what? Means indentation. Okay, I haven't received the answer yet. No, come on. Why this one doesn't work? I want you to make it work.
Oh, I think the L effect
Okay, what's wrong with it? Let me just say.
not like
Oh.
this space before. Yeah.
Sorry, means
Yeah.
let me just run this one line at a time. Control C. We already learned that one. Control V. Enter. And actually, I made mistake. I have to. Let me just. Maharshi.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let me just tell the correct answer as well. This one. Percent C paste. As our friend said, Control C, Control V, and Control C, Control V, enter. And what is the last line? For this one, if you paste, Control C, Control V, you have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Control C, Control V, dash, dash, and it should work. Yes, look at this, just a second, sorry, just let's finish this one for a second. Look at this one. Here we have this time it, and it shows 323 microsecond. Whenever you have two percent signs, it goes to a block of code. When you have just one, it goes to one line. Look at this one, please, everybody. I received that question and I wanted to answer to everybody. So if you have something like percent time or person time it goes to one line. This one just runs the code once. This guy runs it 7 times. Let me tell you one thing, one trick behind it. This guy is more intelligent in terms of, if you're gonna see one example, we already covered something a few seconds ago. Here it is. If instead of 1000, which we saw the result of that, and it says, hey, I go through it 7 times, and 1000 loops. If I make that number something crazy, like 1, 2 more, look at the result. It's not gonna say, now I'm gonna run it 100,000 times. It said that I'm gonna go through it 10 loops. Means that I'm going to calculate, I'm gonna just use sampling. I run the code for 10, and I can guess for 100,000, it's gonna be similar. Just multiply that number. Does that make sense? So there are two things. This guy calculating the average and intelligent. This one is just like a wall clock. You start, let's just wait, then you finish. The other thing is, if you have 2% for time or for time it, the same concept, the only difference is, sorry, there's no space between. For this one, it's a block of code. It's not just one line. Right? The way that you checked it a few seconds ago. Everything is clear, guys? Awesome. If you get something like 70% or like what we covered today, that's perfect. Okay. And remember, we record, and I'm gonna upload the content by tonight. So everybody, please just exit from this environment for a sec. Let's exit. And I want you to start writing these commands. So I said quit. And then IPython. I need everyone like me, because in the previous class, some of our friends said, hey, Reza, for me, it doesn't work. There isn't that. Your input numbers and your output numbers are different from mine. So let's just be identical, similar. First thing first, let's say import math. Import math. When it rains, it pours. Import math. And then let's say math dot sine 2 and enter. And let's use math dot cosine 2. Okay, we have these two numbers. Now look at it closely. For command number 1, we don't have any outputs, but we have output for command number 2 and command number 3, right? So if you just say print in, let's see what's going to happen. If we say print, remember in capital I, in, it's going to show you everything. Like when we started, that's a funny thing. The index 0 goes to when we started the environment, huh? And this is index 1, this is index 2, this is index 3, and the last in that we had, that print in. Okay. How about print out? Just check it, please. Print out. And it's going to just show you something like that. For 1, we don't have any out. For number 2 and 3, you see that we have out. But here we have just a report of what we had before. It's not kind of output things, right? So that is why for 2 and 3 we have. Is it possible that we say, what should we call it? If I say out 2 to the power of 2 plus, what do you think it's gonna just give us? Out 3, I'm sorry, to the power of 2. What's gonna be the result of this? Yes, sir. Oh, merci. What's your name, sir?
Peter.
Peter?
Yeah.
You see, you can easily get bonus marks, especially when the coach is tired. Okay, so guys, trigonometry, very famous. Sine to the power of 2 plus cosine to the power of 2 is going to give us 1, right? And there's one thing. If I look at here, I have 2, 3, and 6. If I say print underscore, it's going to show you the previous one. And if I say minus minus, it's going to show the second last. And if I say 3, 3, it's going to show third last. If I say 4, 4, this time it's going to say, hey, come on, Let's stop it. It's just 1, 2, 3. 4 is not acceptable. It's going to give you error. So the other way of doing that is 2 like this, or _3 like this. But you may say, what if I want to access a specific that it's not just second or last or something? So simple. You say, I'm sorry. You say out, and you mention that specific output that you expect. For instance, here I want to get the output for number 6, which is 1. Huh? I'm just gonna tell the exact number. So please spend 2 or 3 minutes talking to your friends, whatever you get from this. We play with in and out. Make sure that everything is super clear for you, and then after that we are gonna continue. You're talking about page 15, and if you check, you see we have covered all these things, and it says that IPython stops there. More than 3 underscores starts to get a bit hard to count, and it's better to use the line number. Okay, hopefully in 25, what time is it? Yeah, hopefully in 25 minutes we try to finish. Yes.
For some reason for me, 2 doesn't work. Like 3, 4, 5, but 2 doesn't.
I'm gonna check. Okay, you should have. That's a good question. That's why for some of us, some numbers doesn't work. Okay, guys, can I have your attention? Guys, sorry, we are a little bit behind the schedule, if you don't mind. Sorry. Can I have your attention, please? Thank you. Awesome. Look at this one. There is one. There is something in the book which mentioned, is 14 in the out or not? What is this? Imagine that among the lines that we have already used, line number 1, is 1 in out, yes or, oh, I'm sorry, it's 1. Is 1 in out? And you see that it says it is false, means that for the first command, we don't have any output. But what if we say, you remember we calculated sign of number 2. So if we say 2 in out, it's going to tell you true. Yes, we had that. So one of the things that you can check is that line that you want to see the output. Please check if it is true, if it has output or not. So one of the things here, everybody, if you try history, just without anything, everyone please type % history -n, and you see it shows, for instance, 17, 18, whatever, the number of commands that we type after we get back into IPython. And now if you say again, history, but this time, say for instance, 1, 2, 4, it's gonna show you the first 4 numbers in the history, right? I told you everything is already saved inside SQLite database. So you can simply get the things from there. Yes.
Space between one and point shows 1 point.
Oh, nice. Good to know. So you say, instead of this one, if I say dash like this, it's going to show this. Good. Sometimes mistakes make invention. Good job. Okay. Let's go to the next part. There's a chance that you want to, for those who use Mac, you can benefit from this part. For those who have computers like Windows-based computers, you can benefit from these commands. Here are the commands. Yes. Some of them are similar, like echo. But if your computer doesn't work with ls, high probably you have Windows-based computer, so you need to use dir instead. You may say, okay, everybody, you may say, what? Okay, you may say, what's the big deal? I'm gonna quit the environment, calculate, for instance, the dir, and then get back there. The answer is, many times you want to have a bridge between the shell that you're working with and the command prompt that your operating system exists and the IPython. You want to pass parameters and you want to have a bridge. Apart from it, using Alt and Tab is not an easy thing to switch between 2 screens. So simply, if I say here dir exclamation mark and then dir, it's going to show me the list of things over there. So what if I say my list equal to %dir and I say my list or print my list, and then it's going to show. So you see, I got the info from the command prompt environment from DOS and saved it inside one variable, and then like this, I showed you the content of that variable, right? I'm going to give the file by tonight, but here is the first command. I said my list is equal to whatever we have. And the other one, I just print the results in the variable. So look more. LS, list, LS. Yeah. But the thing is, yeah, try this one. For instance, say echo, and this one is common between Mac and say echo, you're awesome. And then print it. It's like, I mean, using echo in MS-DOS or in Mac. It's going to give you the answer, right? One question, when is the time? We are already done? Seriously? We are done in terms of time? That's why I was like, I freaked out. I was like, okay, we cannot finish it, I mean, just in 5-10 minutes. So. One time I come 20 minutes late, right? One time I don't know when the class finishes. And look at this one, please. If you check, we already created one directory, one variable, name was my list. If you check the type of that, say type my list. You see, it says it's Python utils X, it's not any list. It is shell list. It's a specific list that Python provided for connecting these two environments together. Does that make sense? It's not normal list, it's shell list. Specific type design for bridging between these. The next thing is look, here I have one command line. Windows are commands. And if you see, I'm inside drive C, folder name users, and inside that username Reza. What if I type cd space : : what's going to happen? No, root directory is cd /, but this one is just one step, right? It goes to users. Lovely. Look, this is something that you can catch if it is real, or it just mimics the DOS environment. If I say cd, it shows that we are inside what? Users and Reza folder. If I say cd space : , look at this. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays there. Because it tries, listen, you want to actually change the pointer of the location in your command prompt. You have no control over it. The thing that is, the book beautifully said more permanently. It didn't say that it resolved all the issues. You can use % and then say cd space : . Look, it shows that, hey, you are one step temporarily, but more permanently compared to the previous one. You are one step back. If you have a block of instructions, you can just now do something inside C. But if you go to the next line and say %cd, it shows again where you are. Does that make sense? Matthew, everything is fine?
So it's just a temporary thing, right?
Just a temporary change, but at least it does something. It's better than this. Okay. Now we get to one of the, okay, let's just type that and make sure everything is fine. Now we have one out. Don't need to worry. By the way, when the class is over, I'm gonna say if you have any concern, any question, the problems that I couldn't, to the interest of time, just wanted to finish the things. I'm gonna say and please ask your questions. Yes. Oh, thank you very much, Peter. Another one. Yes. For shell, for DOS or Mac OS commands prompts, terminal.
What about the
exclamation, that's another, some of them works with this, some of them works with both. And actually, it mentions that for some, you don't need to use any. Let me just bring the PDF. I'm gonna just bring to tell exactly what it says. So these are Mac that you can just use with your computer, but we don't. Here it is. If you'd like to change the working directly in a more enduring way, well, right? You can use %cd. And it says, in fact, by default, you can even use this without using %, but well, that's a kind of shorthand. Okay. I'm going to tell you, the page is 19, but the PDF page, if you look at the right side, is 37. So the book page is 19, the PDF is 37. Okay. Now, these two functions. So intentionally, I didn't copy these files. Please go to page number 21. I want you to separately copy and paste these two functions. And do not start with func2. First, try func10. It should give you 1.111. Spend a few seconds and see what is the logic of function of the function. What does it do?
I like the text building, how they want it the same, right?
Sorry.
I like it for this.
Yes, they are the same. The only thing is, if I were in your shoes, I read the plain version and I do my own highlights. And then for a review before the midterm and final, I double check my knowledge with the highlighted version too. Because whether you want it or not, the one who provided those highlights is kind of biased towards those highlighted lines. Okay. Just be careful of using indents. See. And the other one. Okay, now if you type func2 and you pass something like 10, what's going to happen? It's going to show you 1.1111, right? And the reason for that is you're going to divide 10 by 9, right? So A would be 10 and B would be 9. So 10 divided by 9 would provide 1.111 and so on. So what if, that's the question. What if I say func2 and this time I say 1? What's going to happen?
divide by 0?
Hello, right? Also. See, okay. Sure, hold on, sorry, Maharshi, right? Awesome. Maharshi, you can start exporting your bonus marks. 1% so far for today. Good job. Let's go to the error. It says that, hey, you know what? In here, we call func2, we pass 1, but this guy is going to call func1, and func1 is nothing but passing x to a and passing what? X minus 1 to b. And that func1 a divided by b is going to be division by 0. Right? The way that you see we have error is X mode context. If you change it to percent X mode plain, it's going to concise the size of the error message. Right? What do you mean? Let me just show you again the error. So we have a nice, neat, clean window that shows, okay, this is, what if I say, I'm sorry, X mode plain, and then I just make the same mistake. Look how concise it is. We don't see anything like X goes inside A, X minus 1 goes inside B, and so on. We don't have any of those details, right? Does that make sense? What if you want to have even more extensive explanation compared to the context? In that case, we are going to say percent X. And instead of that, we are going to say verbose. Verbose. Okay? And in that case, unfortunately, we cannot have all the errors in one page to compare all of them, but at least we can see the concise version that we have in plain. In plain, we just say the number line. But here, not only we have those kind of things that, hey, we pass X into A, X minus 1 into B. We also say A contains 1 in this example, and B contains 0. And that is why this one, which is A divided by 0, is 1 divided by. Everything is super clear. Here's one thing. You may say, okay, now I know the problem, but couldn't we go like any advanced programming environment inside the code and debug it? The answer is yes. You just need to say debug. And then look at this one. Here, where am I standing? I'm inside function 1. Simply, I can say print A, and look at the result. It shows inside A is 1. Imagine that we don't have all those. And inside B, it is 0. And where are we? Inside func1. What if I say, go to the function which is called that? So we go to func2. You see that? By typing off. We moved off. And then we could simply say now print what? X, for example. And the contents that we have for all the variables, we can just simply print it. And now go down, get back to where you were. So we get back to, right? And still we are inside where? We are inside, tell me. Inside the debug environment. And to get outside the debug, we need to type quit. Now we get back to a place that we could make mistake again. Question. I want to automatically, whenever I face any error, go to the debugging environment. Is it possible? The answer is Yes, and what's your name? Little. Neha. Okay. What we are going to do is use person sign and say Python debug space on. The default is off. So if you just make this one on, and it says that now automatically it is on, look at this. I make the same mistake, but it doesn't just show. Not only it shows, but also it brings you to interactive Python debugging environments. So combining the debug environment with the messages that we got in the X mode. Right? Everyone? Awesome. And now let's just say print, let's say help or edge, and it's going to tell me what are the things that I can use here. Or list, for example, list of the functions that we dealing with. So by saying that, technically, yeah, we covered these examples in page number 20. Also, guys, do you see, for instance, I think that last year I asked this question. Which one is not among the X mode options? One of them was plain, context, verbose. I created something like, I don't know, object or agile or something that is familiar, but has nothing to do with this. So, answering your question now, you see that they are the same. We just emphasize on the things that need to be covered in the review. What is this one? It says that the verbose one adds some extra information, including the arguments and the value that you have for the arguments. We talked about maybe that's a thing that yeah. For instance, somebody will say, hey, Reza, what is that PDB? It's Python debugger, right? And yes, the list, help, we just covered these things. I just tell the beginning of the story of this, then I stop recording, then I'm gonna walk around, and please let me know how far you could get in today's session in terms of the codes that we have in the book. I want to see if there's any concern, any problem. And again, I tell you, part B of this file, of this Word file, would be uploaded, and it's going to be all the way up to this profile. Yes, all the way up to here, which is going to be page 17, 17 pages or 16 pages out of 23. But what are two enemies that programmers deal with, apart from error? Guys, error is not an enemy. Error is part of our life. You have to get used to. So, time, memory. I know. Yeah. So the thing is, by saying time, and time, if we could just have a general idea of the whole program. What if I want to know about every single method that I use? Sometimes I need to know if this module, if this method, if this part of the code is kind of bottleneck and try to fix that one. As you see, we have time it. But we can split the code into modules, into methods, as well as lines. So even we can say, just I show you what we will cover next week, but we are not gonna do anything today. Do you see this? So we say, for instance, the overall time of each of these parts, like this comparison, sum of this, and so on. So based on different methods, we split the code. The other way is based on the lines. Maybe even you say, hey, I don't care about I want to know specific line of code that. So this is the other way. You see, for instance, the first line, the second line, the third line, the amount of time that each line consumes. We do exactly the same thing for the amount of memory based on the overall module, based on every single method, or line by line. So this is something that we do because we want to have kind of feasible number. In normal computers, it takes this amount of time to run this algorithm. Doesn't make sense. So next week we are gonna work on that. But one thing I want to tell guys, among all the people in the class, if we have 50 people in this class, I'm number 51 in terms of speed of typing. So that is why I'm lazy as well. I just type everything on a text file, and I spend time to go through it and see if it works or not. My suggestion is, if you're like Reza, not a bad idea, or definitely but it's not a bad idea to have a text file, go through the content. One of our friends did that, and I was impressed. And try not to bring everything in a short period of 3 hours that we have together. Then we can just quickly finish these parts and work on some extra things, extra practices, and intensify the knowledge that we're getting this. You had a question, sir?
Yeah, just in that list comprehension, what does the double greater than sign do? Like J to the power of J is double greater than 5.
Don't ask tough questions, man. I do not have knowledge about those parts. Do you see this? And do you see this? And now you don't see this. So the thing is, I want you to please go and see. Guys, that's a very nice question. Look, if we have X, this Y, what does it happen?
X is the power of Y, I guess.
Where's your cheat sheet? Do you use ChatGPT? Okay.
I have to be skilled.
Stop. Leave something for. Look, guys, if you have 1 0 0 0, something like that, and we say 2, what's gonna happen? It shifts 2 bits towards right. If it is 8, it goes towards here, and the result would be what? 0 0 1 0, which is going to be 2. Does that make sense?
I don't understand that use case.
When you want to say multiply by 2. Or in actual cases, in IoT circuits, when you have something like Raspberry Pi or a controller, you want to have several LEDs, right? This LED is now on. After 0.01 second, this LED will be on, this one is going to be off, and so on. So it's going to make like a circle kind of things. We use this shift, bitwise shifts. Right? That was a very good question. What's your name, sir?
My name is Harlan.
Harlan. Don't ask tough questions like that. Good. Bonus points. we exactly have this side and we have this side as well. It is going to multiply two. So we are here, we go to this, we go to this, we go to this. Look at the code, the entire code please later. You see that it's gonna be a very time consuming code, and that is why we want to have understanding which layer uses most amount of memory and is a bottleneck in terms of running. Thank you again, Colin. Going to the, okay, yes, we already finished the things that I covered for the morning session. Please feel free to work on the things that we covered. I'm gonna stay not only until 2, but also more if you need to. So please just continue working if you want, and the class is yours if you want to leave. Thank you very much. Let me just stop recording. I'm gonna be in, just let me close recording.
Yeah.